Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his wife has been cheating on him with a coworker. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. So, I'm certain that my wife is cheating on me. I think it's someone within the company she works with. I knew that recently we had been having problems, but I didn't think things would end up like this. I met Lori through an online dating website. I can't even remember which one now, but we actually worked at the same accounting firm for a little bit. I went off to another place while Lori stayed. We dated for around 6 years, and I felt it was time to get hitched. For a while, everything was great, but when we moved into a more expensive area, we got hit with some property taxes and other fees we weren't really ready for. As a result, Lori took on a new role in the company as a manager, and that meant more money but a bunch of new responsibilities. She was constantly overworked and complaining about the people she worked with more and more. I think she was really burnt out but wasn't willing to step out of where she was because she felt like she needed to do it. Well, that didn't work out too well. Lori started to have mood swings and lash out at me for everything I did. Even things I did for her that were nice. I got her some flowers once and she complained about having to take care of them. Well, we had problems for a bit since then. One night she comes to bed very oddly and tells me she's going to start working overtime. I tell her that she's stressed out enough already and the extra work isn't going to help out with that. Well, she ignored me and started staying at work for longer and longer. I didn't think too much of it until I noticed our money situation wasn't changing. If she was working overtime, where was all the money? I found reasons to be suspicious when one time I needed to make a call but I had broken my phone that morning. The screen was completely blacked out and couldn't be interacted with or turned off. I asked Lori to use her phone to make the call, but when I went to unlock it, I kept getting the password wrong. When I told her, she took the phone, popped the SIM card out, pulled a different one out of the dresser, and popped that one in, then handed it to me. She told me that her work gave her a SIM card instead of a different work phone because it was way easier, but there's no way in hell that's true. That night, I looked up a way to get into phones without the passcode, and I popped that SIM card into my phone. When I opened it, I found that Lori was having an affair with someone at her workplace named Michael. Judging by the messages, Lori was the one who started it. I don't really know what to do now. I can't stand having someone who cheated on me sleeping next to me in bed and not knowing who this Michael guy is. I can't believe she would do this, even with everything that's been going on. I don't have a plan at the moment, but I know I can't have her living here in my house anymore. I want her out, but I don't know how to get that started. Update. I had to go to their office to drop off a package Lori needed. I went up to the front desk and introduced myself as Lori's husband and that I had a package she needed. The receptionist started to freak out and asked if I could stay for just a couple of minutes. Lori went out for a bit, but he told me he needed to talk to me about what's been going on, and he has no one else to turn to. He asked me over and over again if I was Lori's husband and if I knew what was going on. It turns out he was Michael. I wanted to kick the shit out of him right there. He's this good-looking 20-year-old kid. Well, I'm glad he didn't and held back because he wasn't exactly happy about what was going on either. According to him, he's been forced to sleep with Lori for months. Michael's story is that when he started working there, Lori kept offering him little incentives to do things outside of work for her. At first it was little things like picking up something from a store for her, but it gradually kept getting more and more invasive. Lori basically forced this kid to get into bed with her with the threat of him losing his job, and he can't do anything back. Michael told me he needs this job, and he's afraid that trying to do anything will put him at risk and get him fired. Instantly, I'm trying to console this young guy who I can tell is so ashamed of himself for how this went down. We went into the cafeteria, and I had him show me their conversation history. It was like a completely different person was on the other end. She made passes on him constantly, telling him what she was going to do to him after work, during work sometimes, and this guy basically had no choice but to say, haha, yeah, okay, anytime she sent some shit like this. Anytime Michael tried to wave it off or say he had other things to do, Lori would threaten his job, sometimes subtly, sometimes not. Obviously, this is illegal. I tell Michael he needs to go to HR with this, but he says that it's just too risky and he can't do it. We went back and forth for a bit until finally I gave him an offer. If I can promise and assure Michael that he will not lose his job, He will give me everything he has on Lori and I'll sort it out for him. He says okay. My lawyer and I are going through the motions for getting a divorce ready. And I'm also sending the whole record of their conversation out to their HR as well as to Lori's upper management to help expedite this process. I included a note saying it would be best to handle the matter internally so that any press might come out of the incident doesn't have anything behind it. I think they got the message. Update. My seeds bore fruit. I got into contact with HR, who told me they're doing an internal investigation. Lori was suspended but pretended not to know why when she got home. Michael started telling his story to the people in upper management and things started looking bad for her. They brought her into the office to officially give her the news that she's being let go. They gave her a severance package to keep her quiet and had her walk out the door. She told me what happened when she came home, and that's when I produced the divorce papers. I told her I knew what had been going on and what she was doing. We fought for a while after that, but I got her out of my house, and soon enough she'll be out of my life too. Your soon-to-be ex-wife put both her marriage and work on the line when she started to indulge in her wants and her sexual desires. It's a good thing Michael felt safe enough to talk to you. Your soon-to-be ex-wife was essentially abusing him in their workplace, and he couldn't leave because he needed the job. She deserves to lose her job and lose her marriage after what she did to Michael just because she could. It's a good thing you're ending things with her. Spending the rest of your life with a woman like your soon-to-be ex-wife sounds like a scary thought, and I don't wish it on you. Story 2. So last week, my 29 male wife, 28, let me know she was going out with her friend Ashley. Not a problem since she frequently goes out with her friends, and I've never had any problem trusting her. What was unusual is that she didn't get home until 4:30 a.m. Usually she's home by 2:30 a.m. once the bars close. I texted her at 4 to make sure she was okay and didn't need a ride home. She got home at 4:30 a.m., showered and went to bed without waking me up. I was fake sleeping since I was upset we had had a small argument before she left without resolving it. Also that she didn't respond to my text. I had to wake up at 5:30 a.m. to work, but I couldn't sleep. Got up at 5 and I heard a buzz from her phone. I was pissed and did something I never do. Opened her phone. As I turned it on, it went straight to her message app where I noticed something strange. She had 2 people listed as Andrea. One was Ashley Smith, the other just Ashley. Upon further investigation, Ashley turned out to be a guy who she had started messaging 5 days after the wedding. Needless to say, I was in shock. There were a couple texts between the two of them almost every day since they had started talking. There was nothing explicit, but there were also definitely more smiley faces than I would have liked. The text messages revealed that they had gone out 3 more times in the last 2.5 weeks. One of the nights was from 2 weeks ago when she had gotten home at 2 a.m. This was the only indication I could have had of what was coming. I was staying up waiting for her since she sounded pretty drunk when I spoke to her on the phone around midnight. I was sitting out smoking on the balcony apartment that night when I heard a car idling outside of the complex. Strange, since she usually gets dropped off inside the complex. I went down to help her and saw her jumping out of a large truck. I got her home and asked her who had dropped her off. Ashley, she said. I said that it wasn't Ashley's car that dropped you off. She said it was Ashley's husband. I knew that it wasn't his car either. Are you sure? I asked. She got upset, pointed at her ring and said, I'm married, I would never cheat. She was drunk and I knew I wouldn't get anywhere arguing, so I dropped it and went to sleep. I have always trusted her, so I didn't bring it up the next day and assumed maybe Ashley's husband had another truck I didn't know about. He's a mechanic after all. When I confronted her with what I knew, she immediately exclaimed that he was just a friend. She said that she was sorry that she lied, but she hadn't wanted me to be suspicious. She denied that anything physical happened and said she wasn't attracted to him at all. This is really hard for me to believe. I've never been a jealous person. She often goes out at night with her friends without me, and I never question anything. She says it's a stupid mistake, but obviously shit doesn't add up. I left the house and have been staying with a friend while I get my feelings sorted out and figure out how to continue. She says she wants to stay together and work on it. I just have a tough time with everything since none of what she says seems to make sense. If he was really just a friend, wouldn't she have told me? She's had male friends before and hung out with them without me there. I've never had a problem because I trusted her before this. So we haven't been married for more than a month, and I feel like this is a terrible way to start off the marriage. We don't have any kids, mortgages, or combined bank accounts. Is this a sign I should leave, or is it worth it trying to work it out? I love her so much, but I'm wondering if this is something that will pop up again in our marriage. I don't trust her anymore, and I'm worried I won't be able to trust her enough to make it work. This doesn't look good, OP. Your wife says this Ashley guy's just a friend, but then why hide his name? Why keep him a secret from you, especially if you don't have issues with her hanging out with her male friends? It would seem that she's emotionally cheating on you with this guy. Or she has emotionally and physically cheated on you already. Either way, your marriage is way too early to have this kind of issue. So ask yourself if you trust her or not, if you believe her or not. If you don't, file for divorce or an annulment and get this done with. Now for some comments. Yeah, this would be a deal breaker for me. The lying, the sneaking around, giving that person a different name, coming home late, texting and meeting up in a short period of time, all around the time you guys got married. To me, that's definitely cheating, regardless of any physical stuff. I would be heartbroken and wouldn't trust my SO ever again. Look, monogamy isn't easy, and mistakes are all but inevitable in monogamous LTRs. But a week after the wedding? Part of growing up is learning how to appropriately respond to the feelings that you will inevitably get for someone that isn't your SO. And she responded wrong. But if she's serious about working things out and never talking to this guy again, you can tentatively give her another chance. But don't buy a house, share accounts, or get pregnant. If she's not seriously regretful and working hard to earn your trust back, dump her immediately. I'm really sorry this happened. It's not going to be an easy one to figure out. But you know, she doesn't take those marriage vows too seriously. Even if she isn't lying through her teeth, she is. She betrayed your trust, and you have zero reason to have any faith in what she says. Why would she hide it? If she had simply come clean instead of doing all this cover-up of tracks and all that, then I'd say maybe it would be worth waiting it out. But she's showing no signs of remorse for hiding anything from you. So you have no reason to believe any of what she's told you. Kick her out and file for divorce. Honestly, a party girl and a liar? No real ties to bind you? Let's call this one a mulligan.